Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 154 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming to you live from YouTube. And the subject of today's brief video is going to be this new, brand new, newish, quite new, fairly new. We'll go with new. We'll say not old. Musc invisible, invisible musk from Juliette Has a Gun. But first, I need to do the usual thing and make sure that I'm coming through loud and clear on the tablet. And first comment again, well done, goes to Angela, says hi again everyone, and Keith saying hello as well, and Carl Haar says hi everyone, and David goes J-Hag, Musc invisible, is that a good J-Hag exclamation or a bad one? Hello again, says Olfactophiles. Hello, love the bottle design, says Land of Nothingness. Okay, let's get straight into this. Thank you very much to everybody for watching live if you've tuned in live, and thank you very much for watching the recording. Regardless of how you're watching, feel free to leave a comment, ask a question, and just interact in any way you see fit. I'm going to move this away from the mic because otherwise it will get really noisy. Now, Juliette Has a Gun. Let's just rip this off first and get the noise out of the way. I think we can say this is pretty new. It's certainly not out in the UK for a few days. I think 20-something is the release date, 23rd. And I believe it's going to be exclusive to John Lewis first, and then a few days after that it's going to be more widely available. But what do we think of the brand? Now, it's been around actually a good long while. I think it's celebrating its 16th anniversary this year. Founded by Romano Ricci, who is still very much the main creative force. I haven't met him very many times. I think it's only been twice. The first time I was able to do a fairly proper interview. The second time was a bit more of a hectic, busy event where it was for the launch of a perfume, but there wasn't really an opportunity to talk to him properly. But one thing that I was always struck by was his honesty in saying that even though he makes the scents for the brand, he absolutely didn't want to call himself a perfumer. And so I asked him to expand on that, and he said that what he does, now this was a few years ago, so I don't know if his method has changed, so need to put that out there, that this was certainly what he told me a few years ago in this interview. What he does is that he does very much work with actual physical materials, and he has a lab and he puts them together and he tries out accords and he mixes his lotions and potions, but he then gives what he has produced when he's got it to a point that he's happy with, where he thinks that it's saying whatever it is that he wants it to say. He then passes it on to a perfumer friend of his, and he counts several perfumers amongst his friends, I think, and then he says to them, look, can you basically sort this out now, and can you take this idea and make it into a perfume? And I think that reflects a fair amount of humility on his part, that even though he does do about 85-90% of the process, he refuses to call himself a perfumer, because he says that he doesn't have that skill and training and expertise and experience and knowledge that are required actually properly to finish a perfume and to finalize it into a form that you can then pour into a bottle. I saw a few people saying, I'm not ignoring the comments, by the way, and even though I may not be able to get through all of them in the live broadcast, I always go back and read them. I saw a few people saying, I haven't found a Juliette perfume that I like yet. My faves are Not a Perfume and Into the Void, says Land of Nothingness. Now, in terms of its unique selling point, in terms of its vibe, in terms of its feel, it's always struck me as a brand that tries to appeal to the younger wearers and tries to project a certain sort of cool. And actually, that was one question that I was able to ask him the last time we met at this hectic event, even though I'm not sure I got a very satisfactory answer, because I did say to him, it's kind of easier to come across as cool when you are a brand new brand, because coolness and newness go together. But how do you stay cool when you've been around for 10 years, 11 years, 12 years? And some brands manage to remain cool, don't they? Like Apple manages to remain cool, I think. Swatch I think, manages to remain cool. Although brands also have lows and highs, don't they? Lego, for instance, went through a period of not being very cool at all, but is now super cool and has been cool for a while. And I think Juliette Has a Gun have managed to retain a sense of cool. And it's interesting to think about why. Is it because of the names of the perfumes? Is it something to do with the character of Romano Ricci himself and how he uses himself in the marketing of the brand? And there's David saying they should aim for style instead. Well, you could say that as well. Are you all having an interesting conversation about this brand, by the way? Because I see lots and lots of people talking to each other. Ashfaq says, is it a Byredo type? Yes, perhaps. Although I think Byredo tried to be more Scandinavian minimalist, whereas Juliette Has a Gun, I think, tries to project a sort of Gallic cool, a European continental cool. Eric says, I own only one, Moondance, which is lovely, but I got it very much on sale, so that might affect my appreciation. Fair enough. Cool is fleeting, says David Santi. Well, yes, unless you manage to hang on to it. How do you solve a problem like fleeting cool? How do you catch a cloud? No, never mind. Cool is in the eye of the beholder, says Rich Mitch. Totally. I love Juliette Has a Gun. Lipstick Fever, says Scented Love. Marks and Spencer Food Hall is a brand, is a perfume we should emulate. Okay, let's smell this one though. This is Invisible Musk. I thought Lipstick Fever was too heavy on the raspberry, says Angela. Let's give the bottle its due time in the limelight. I'd appreciate more effort on the fragrance than the marketing, says Olfactive Stories. Completely agree with you. You know, if the fragrance doesn't back up the marketing, then you kind of need to go back to the drawing board, don't you? If you try to be cool, you've already failed, says Smurfy Girly. This is where I keep failing then, isn't it? I know what you mean, but I do think that the brands that really are cool are the ones that don't seem to try too hard, like Hermès, putting aside their perfume releases, but you know, like Hermès Windows, I think are quirky, cool. Cool is an interesting quality. Now, I am going to spray this on skin as well as on the blotter because if it's calling, well, number one, it's calling itself a musk, and musks really do come out better on skin, and it's actually calling itself invisible musk. And I thought, oh well, if it's really, you know, if it's actually selling itself as an invisible musk, then I need to give it as much of a chance to show itself off in its full glory as possible. So I will spray it on the blotter now, but we will also spray it on skin, and I've got a press release to go with it. So here we go. Musc Invisible from Juliette Has a Gun. Risky, says Eric. Hope you love it. It's okay. God, the number of times I spray things on my skin that then just make me want to run a mile. Chanel has froideur rather than cool. Ooh, I like that. Yes. Do they? See, I wonder if actually Chanel are a brand that are trying a little bit too hard at the moment, but put that aside. I'm Chanel are in my good books at the moment because I just adore Le Lion de Chanel, which I did a video on a few days ago. Just, I cannot get enough of that perfume. Let's do a little bit of rearrangement so that you can actually see the colour of this bottle. There, is that better? Put that up against that background. Okay. Yeah, see, this is pretty invisible. Let's do a trick, okay, where I'm going to just warm it up with some heat from my mouth. See, at the moment, what's coming through, actually, now it looks like a Sauvage Sausage bottle. It does, actually, you're right. Although the cap is quite different. What's coming across, very, very quietly, very invisibly, appropriately enough, is an interesting cocktail of musks, and actually quite animalic but quiet, and it's making me think of Kiehl's musk with its sort of leathery, heated, bonfirey, animalic tones. But Kiehl's musk, which I love as well, is not quiet, whereas this seems to be doing the same thing but with the volume turned right down. Let's go for skin. Let's go for skin straight away. Thumbs up so far, by the way. At least it does what it says on the tin. Right. A rare instance, ladies and gents, of Persolaise spraying something directly onto skin. What's the point of an invisible fragrance, says Angela? Well, because it won't actually be completely invisible, okay? I mean, it is there. I know I'm saying that it's quite quiet, but I am smelling something. And well, you could say, what's the point of a loud fragrance? It depends on what you want to wear. It depends on what you want to project. It depends on what message you want to put out there about how you're feeling on any given day, and also it depends on the message that the perfumer maybe wanted to put into the bottle. So, quiet perfumes absolutely have as much of a place as loud perfumes, in my opinion. And even though it may be quiet, as it's musk heavy, as it appears to be, I wear invisible clothes sometimes, says Murphy Gurley. Yes, I've been told. Give the name a break. It's all right, isn't it? The Burrow Nerdy Fragrance Review says, I find Musc Invisible to be perfect for the gym or when I'm around my family that is fairly fragrance sensitive, if you like. Now, but what I was saying is, as it's musk heavy, it may be quiet, but you would expect it to last for ages, especially on the blotter. Now, if this is full of the usual cocktail of musks like, galaxolide and exaltalide and ethylene brassylate and all of those sorts of wonderful musks that have been used for decades in perfumery that we a lot of the time now associate also with fabric softeners, then this should last on the blotter, on fabric, for a very long time indeed. Now, what's interesting and notable and remarkable and commendable is that so far, even though I'm getting musks, I am not actually thinking Lenore and Febreze and fabric conditioner and fabric softener. And that's a hard association to break out of nowadays, because we make those associations with fabric softeners so strongly now when musks are overloaded. But this is not making me think that, and that could be because there's a nice injection of animalic notes. And it does have a quiet purr. And a very, very gentle, quiet floral aspect coming through as well. Maybe sort of quite pinky florals at the moment. But this is interesting. It is the kind of perfume that you would want to sort of spray all over yourself and know that you would be projecting a sillage for sure, but it would be a quiet sillage. Don't dismiss invisible scents. Right, let us see what the actual press release for this says. It's a longish press release, so I don't plan to read all of it. Quote from Romano Ricci, who, true to form, as you can see, you can see the ring light being reflected in the screen there now. Is that better? You can see he's not actually including a picture of himself. He's the invisible man in that image. It says, a word from the creator, following vanilla vibes, I find myself facing once again another giant of perfumery, musk. Ultimate bottom note in the perfumer's palette, true. My challenge here was to preserve its addictive and silky properties while trying to keep them alive on top. And that is a bit of a challenge. And silky is a good word for this one. I go along with silky. The result is a light, soapy composition with a whisper of cotton flower and jasmine absolute. Okay, whisper, fine. I'll really want to see how this develops, but no, I'm absolutely enjoying it so far. It's because it's not going for total musk cliches. Musc Invisible goes on a fluffy scent. It's not that cutesy. Is it as comfortable and unfussy as your favourite old pair of jeans? Oh, I don't know. It feels a bit more elegant to me than that. As appropriate at work as on a casual date. A soft, warm and cosy composition keeping you just under the radar, hence the invisible wink. Musc Invisible reminds of something good, easy, optimistic and at the same time wonderfully fragile. A dreamy and nostalgic smell of comfy notes laying on a silky base of creamy musk. Okay, so the brand are obviously just wanting to push this idea of it's easy, it's comfortable, but there is a purr to it. To me, You know what it's reminding me of? What's the Serge Lutens, Claire de Musc, which does a similar kind of thing. And I don't know if Claire de Musc has aged all that well, because I think that one is a little bit too fabric softenery. Although maybe I'm being unfair to it. Maybe I should revisit my sample. Maybe we'll do that as a classic choice one day. It's reminding me of that. What else have we got? A composition as silky as a caress, a scent that embraces the senses, a perfume that fits like a second skin. Okay, so, and then there's what they're calling a pyramid. It says a top note of jasmine absolute, a heart note of cotton flower, and bottom notes of white musk. And then it talks a little bit about the bottle. And that's it. So here we go. The UK dates are 23rd of January. It'll be exclusive to John Lewis. And then from the 4th of February, it'll be available at Harvey Nichols, Selfridges and Harrods. Harvey Nichols, Selfridges and Harrods. I believe they're what used to be known as, what was it? Shops, places that you went to when you actually did this thing called leaving your house. And I think shops had doors and you could enter shops and there were other people there and you interacted with them and you smelt stuff. Actually, I really don't mean to be facetious, but I would love the idea of one day going in to Harvey Nichols or Selfridges or Harrods and smelling perfumes again and interacting with sales assistants. But I don't mean to be facetious, because I absolutely do not want to belittle in any way or shape or form the situation that we're in. Hopefully, if we all stay safe and we do the right thing, we will be able to start going shopping soon. Let's look at some of your comments. Gavin says, I can't hear the phrase bottom note post Tom Ford perfume with... I'm not even going to read the rest of that comment. Land of Nothingness says, maybe Cologne and Elibile, even though it's from Mal. Yeah, again, you don't get, well, that's very strong on Narcissus though, isn't it? But you certainly don't get fabric softener musks from that. Jackie D says, I have a travel spray of vanilla vibes, and so far so good. Not as beachy as I thought. I read the inspiration was actually the desert, which fits the scent. It is a nice, dry, airy twist on vanilla. Interesting. Can't wait till that day comes again, says Scented Love, as in the day when we can go to shops again. I miss shops, says Smurfy Girly. Yes, lots of things that I miss, but I, keep counting blessings as well. We all have lots of blessings to count, I'm sure. Audrey says, I've had to blind buy so many fragrances this year. Thanks for your reviews. They have really helped in the last year. Well, if they have, you're more than welcome. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for the interaction. So I think with this one, I'm saying definitely need to give it time to develop on skin. So the skin update, the blotter update will be crucial. Definitely intrigued, definitely enjoying it so far. And definitely happy to praise what it isn't, if you see what I mean. In the and by that I mean that it isn't this laundry detergent musk cliche. And I like the animalic edge. But where I disagree with the press release is all of this business of it being easy, comfy. Okay. Right, what is the time? Ooh, I think we will come back for a third video and do a classic choice, okay? And actually, speaking of animalic, this is one of the most animalic perfumes in my collection, and it's a classic from the 50s. So start thinking about what it might be. I will see you in a few minutes. Bye.